Welcome to the seventh part about the Snap4City Course 2020. This part is dedicated to the overview on the Smart City APIs of Snap4City and on the development of web and mobile app application. Okay. Let me go ahead. So this seventh part is the last of a set of seven, which include a general overview, dashboard creation and management, IoT application development and IoT devices and network, data analytics in RStudios and Python, how to exploit and manage data analytics in IoT application, data ingestion, process and mechanism, data warehouse, data gate, connection with the SICAN, IoT-based data ingestion, IoT application for data ingestion, and several tools that could be used to facilitate the data ingestion. The sixth part also include the Snap4City architecture and system, how to accelerate the usage, the insertion of innovation in your smart city, and how to install Snap4City on your premise, for instance, or how to really pass from the cloud version to the on-premise version. So you can find you can find that this page number the details about the course and also all the slides and video. From that page you can also access to the 2019 course that has been erogated in November 2019 in the Smart City World Expo in Barcelona, and also to the version in Italian language erogated in the past, but it was smaller than this one. So this was referred to the previous version of the platform. So we suggest you to follow this one as a course. So this part agenda is reported in this slide. So we are I am presenting the Smart City APIs. Not all of them, but most of them, the most important part and the philosophy of the Smart City API. What you can do with a mobile app. The approach of advanced Smart City APIs and the microservices, and the mechanism for federated knowledge base, and also the web and mobile application development toolkit that is going to be presented by Claudio. So when we talk about the Smart City APIs and the production of mobile apps, so the exploitation of data and services from the infrastructure into other applications, it can be easily done, exploiting the old services by means of the Smart City APIs. It is the best way to operate interoperability and to exploit the data and the service of the infrastructure. So, when you initialize the system on your premise, usually you ingest the data, and then as soon as your data are ingested, you can start using the data through the Smart City APIs. In this period, after the data ingestion, you can start to develop your Smart City API application, such as production of mobile app and web app and dashboard for city users. And so it's possible quite rapidly, quite immediately to exploit the data and services that you have. If you are starting from cloud, as soon as you have put the data, everything will be available and the data are automatically available on the Smart City API. So you don't need to map your data on the Smart City API because the Smart City API are automatically fed with the data. So the development and the exploitation of the Smart City API, the development of mobile app as depicted here on the right side that exploited the advanced Smart City APIs is an automated process in the sense that as soon as you have feed the data and developed your your scenarios, the Smart City API allow you to access to the data and services. This is a remark, but it is very important to be understood that you don't need to do nothing to have the data on the Smart City APIs. So the web and the mobile and web app development kit allow you to create your mobile app. You can include the scenarios, you can derive and customize the development toolkit that is also include the code in open source. So there are some markers in some part of the course with marks sort of complexity of each exercise or segment of the course, the level of difficulty that is that came from very easy, one snap, not very easy for non-programmer level to complex to be only used by to be conquered by professionals that can develop code that can program the computer with some programming language and so on. So there are some of those slides in the whole course. There are many of those lists in the portal in which you can get the list of updated technical notes and how to web pages reporting, how to create a dashboard, how to ingest data, how to create and connect an IoT application, how to create a mobile app, and so on. Oh, let us now talking about the Smart City API. They are typically divided in internal and external. Internal means that are accessible for the tools that are put in execution on the cloud. They are not made visible from outside. For instance, they are not accessible from the mobile app, but only from the tool inside. Why we have also internal? Because sometimes you need to access from data analytics to some part of the system, and you can exploit internal APIs for that. And also there are services and microservices that allow to control the whole Smart City infrastructure from the IoT application and the other applications. So the internal APIs are very useful at the administration level or tool administration level. So both internal and external API are well documented in open source, so the documentation is accessible in Swagger from the main menu for the development. You can access to to the documentation. You need to be probably in most cases, since we are talking about developing mobile application, be area manager. So if you are a manager, probably you don't have access to all the menu item that I am going to present to you. So you need to be area manager. To become area manager, you have to ask to your organization if the organization is already set up into the Snap4City platform, or you can send directly an email to snap4city@dizit.org to ask to be leveraged at the area manager role. This is the internal view of some of the list of the internal APIs. They are more fragmented with respect to the Smart City APIs, so there are many different modules. All the platform, the Snap4City platform is modular, so the several component provides different APIs, but all of them are harmonized and exploited exploit the same philosophy in the whole module. Most of the external Smart City API can be also tested by using a standard tool like Postman. So you can exploit this connection to do that. So this is our standards that are typically used by who is going to exploit this kind of functionalities. So please remind that Snap4City is totally englobate, totally reuse and extended the KM4City infrastructure and solution. So sometimes the former name remain, as in this case. So it means that you still have to see here sometimes km4city.org Svarger or others. Some of the links report still KM4City, but in concept, KM4City and Snap4City are one include the others. So typically KM4City is the data aggregator and expose the KPIs from the knowledge base, while the Snap4City added all the IoT app, IoT infrastructure, etc. But at the end, KM4City remained a keyword of Snap4City for providing some services. So you don't have to be astonished of that. So you can in most cases you can use both of them for calling the same services. So the advanced Smart City API can be limited to a single area, to a single installation, while you can federate the Smart City API connecting several installations together or several knowledge maps together. In addition, the Smart City, the knowledge base, in addition to expose some Smart City APIs or federated Smart City API, you can also expose, it is also possible to expose WFS and WMS services of Snap4City to others. So these are also, let's say, part of the Smart City APIs. So there are APIs for accessing to the services, API for accessing to the service in a federated manner, modality to federate the open data portal of Snap4City with other CCAN, and the possibilities to access at Snap4City as a WFS server, or the possibility to access to the Snap4City as WMS server. So all of them are parts of the collection of the Smart City APIs. Okay, regarding the flexible mobile and web app, I am going to describe you how it's work. So for the developer had at the disposal for his support for his work can use the Swagger as mentioned before. So the list of APIs, but also the formal definition of them. And he has also the possibilities to use the service map to understand which kind of data are located. And he can also, he or she can also use the data inspector that is not reported here, but is very useful also for developer. The developer can use the open source development toolkit for developing web and mobile app. There are two versions. One is called KM4City Development Toolkit, another Snap4City Development Toolkit, are more or less similar. Maybe in the second one there are a little bit more functionality. So you can access to those development toolkit from the GitHub portal, and exploiting this development toolkit, you can develop your mobile app with the two different styles, the KM4City style or the Snap4City style, two different series, the KM4City Where What series and the City in a Snap series from Snap4City. You can develop a mobile app, but you can develop also web app, and and you can embed this information, this web app, also into web page, as you can do also for not only for micro application like micro application. So single view of the web app, but also for the dashboard. There is also a set of tools for the administrators of the mobile app that allow you to control what is going on in the mobile app, how the people move, origin, destination, matrix, flows, questionnaires, answers, or engagement that you can send to your user using the mobile app. So the advanced Smart City APIs are typically, we had the keyword advanced in some case when we refer to the whole set of the APIs. But the whole set is well represented here in the Swagger with a list of the different components of the Smart City API. What you can get from the Smart City API, you can get a service for searching data inside the infrastructure by text, near to a point, along a path, inside an area. So it's possible to resolve to make a search and get a GPS information, or to provide GPS information and get what is closer to that point. You can have service for empowering city user, for collecting from city user their contribution, suggestion, comments, ranking, images. You can collect from the Smart City API events, entertainment events, critical events, mobility events, and so on. You can access to information of public and private mobility and prediction. Point of interest are also accessible. health service and prediction about the services, environmental information, heat maps also, but status of pollutant or pollination. You can receive, you can get a profile that suggestions to the city user. You can get traffic flow reconstruction. You can get information from personal assistant and also engagement from the engagement tool. So it's possible to federate these APIs with the other cities. Web and mobile app with Open Development Toolkit. So this is are the two kinds of app together. So it's possible to have the KM4City approach or the in a Snap approach, and look and feel, different kind of menus. Probably is a nicer view. The Helsinki in a Snap, the Antwerp in a Snap are more modern view and more nicer icons and so on. So the functionality are similar in Comchets. There are more functionality dedicated on the environment in the Snap4City series. The features are 5-6 languages typically, with a user profiled, can be profiled according to a classification, so citizen, commuter, student, tourist, or operator. There is also a profiled menu, so it's possible to have a different menu according to the different user profile. There is a second level profile, for instance, regarding the profile, let's say, of the user may correspond to the group inside the organization in the Snap4City portal. So if you have an organization, if you have an organization inside the Snap4City, you can decide to have a number of groups inside that organization, and those groups classify your profile user on the app. And thus you can grant some hatches or some functionalities per group, and you can do it on the portal but also on the mobile app. You can have so profiled menu in that sense. You can have a dynamic and personalized menu. You can have functionality for text, for searching for point of interest, searching for garden area, public transport, ticket, cycling, parking, etc. So there are a number of smart applications already in place, for instance, in this KM4City app. So smart parking, smart first aid, smart public transportation, fuel pricing, bike sharing, weather condition, environmental data, pollution, pollination, traffic sensor, routing, etc. So a lot of views. So you see the triage status, the operator of mobility, the pollutant, the smart parking view, events, entertainments and suggestions. So many different information. So the apps also provide support for navigation. That is very interesting. The 3D also with the map in perspective. You can navigate and see the motion of your location. You can get the tickets for buses. Depending on the area, the app in this case is covering the whole Tuscany. So if you move in a part of the Tuscany, you can get different the tickets for that parts are available for you. So you can ask for a ticket, and the app recognize where you are and provide you different services in different part of the area. From the collection of the data, the app can analyze for you the Wi-Fi status in the area, but also the beacon or Bluetooth status. So this status can be sent to the server, so you can use the app to monitor what is going on in your city. You can also monitor the user behavior and how they move to reconstruct geolocated movements, how the user move in the city, and which kind of flows they perform in the city. This information collecting data from the user is performed according to the GDPR. So when the user install the app, it is requested to sign the consent to allow to send the data and store the data on the server and use the data for collecting analysis and so on, and also for suggesting him. So the single user can go on the server to cancel, and even from the mobile app can go to cancel the single track and the data he has authorized before to be collected in the server. This is an example of some snapshots belonging to the Snap4City series of mobile app. They are presently available in Helsinki, Antwerp, and the whole Tuscany region. You see some interesting view regarding the pollutant status, in which the user can click and see the different kind of pollutant are there, the values, so he can click on those elements and change the maps shown directly on the map. The same for the other views, or similar for buses or for the events and the routing and so on. The same app can be visualized in a responsive manner in tablets, so you can use the same app also for totem and touch screen of very large size. So the mobile app has some features regarding the access to technical details. So the mobile app can also be used by operators of the city, and in addition to the classical features like discovery, search, mobility, environmental assistant, goal experience, personal data, event and sharing, monitoring, that are the classical feature for all the users. There are some specific features for operators that allow the operators to access, for instance, even to program IoT application, and to access to the to the dashboard he developed, and also to the dashboard that allow to monitor the mobile app itself. So it's possible for the operator, when it is mobility, to really control the whole infrastructure from this mobile application. So the mobile application, since they are developed in terms of with a portable approach, with the Cordova and are HTML5 JavaScript mobile app. Each single view as the global application can be also accessible as a micro application. This is what we do usually. So you can exploit this micro application, so micro views for environmental, routing, weather, access or mobility information, and so on. You can embed these views in web pages. You can embed in dashboard. You can use as mobile app directly from any device with the Sun browser. So you don't need to install the Snap or KM4City mobile app, because you can use even from the link from as an instant app. So when you go to be a developer, you need powerful tools to understand which kind of data are available in a given area, and what could be the experience of the user. And so it simulates and explains how the Smart City APIs can really serve for you as a developer to create a mobile app and web app. So this tool is called the Service Map. It's the knowledge-based tool available on the left side menu. So you can access to the knowledge-based tool to make a query, and every time that you make a visual interrogation, a visual query of your system, you can ask at the Snap4City and the service map to provide you and send you an email with the instruction of that could be used to call to perform the same visual query that you have done on service map on a programmatic manner. So this is a very, very powerful tool, and so when you use the service map, it's very important that you see in most cases the disk, a small disk, and every time that you make a query and then you put a disk, the query that has been done exploiting the Smart City APIs is sent to you by email to training you in creating your invocation of Smart City API to obtain the same kind of data. So the Smart City API are well documented, so you can access to this code, but what is suggested is to access to the Snap4City portal, in which you can get updated information. These are the list of test cases and descriptions.